Hello there and welcome back to some Star Wars Battlefront 2 news. This time, the news centers around clone trooper skins and new skins coming to Battlefront 2. DICE is going to be updating the recent additions to the game based on your feedback. Plus, we are going to be talking about developers coming back to the Battlefront 2 scene to begin work on stuff for Battlefront 2. So that's good news. And then also, how many people are actually playing Battlefront 2? How many players are on the servers? We have some updates about that and some official comments from DICE as well. Then we're going to be talking about hero health cards and going over your top comments. So be sure to leave a comment down below. You never know, it could end up in a future video. But guys, welcome back to Star Wars HQ. Let's dive straight into the news, shall we? So, yeah, you guys know already that DICE released their version of 327th, and then, of course, the modders outpaced DICE. They released their own versions, and it looked much better. It looked a lot more accurate, more detailed, and DICE noticed this feedback, and they posted this brand new update and blog post today about what they're doing around the updates to these skins and future skins. So, let's dive in, shall we? You can find that blog post, by the way, in the description below. So this comes from Forge, community manager on Battlefront 2. He goes on to say this: with the recent release of the Elite Core update, the topic of appearances has never been more prominent within our community. As I've said before, we very much appreciate the passion that you have, not just for the Battlefront series, but for Star Wars as a whole. He goes on to say, we saw all the discussion around the way the 327th Star Core were received. We read your feedback and watched your videos. Many of you have commented on the authenticity of these appearances, and we are working very closely with our friends at Lucasfilm to ensure accuracy in game. Goes on to further say, with that, we can confirm that we will be making changes to the current 327th Star Core appearances, which were modeled after clone Commander Bly. The modified appearances will be inspired by standard 327th Star Core troopers and will arrive in a future update this winter, end quote. So that's really good news that they're taking this feedback and actually doing something about it, because hey, they could have just brushed this off and just moved on, but they're willing to, take the community feedback and actually update the game. So that's pretty cool. I wish that they had, released it, better looking in the first place, but hey, at least they're updating it. So he goes on to say this: as part of your feedback, we have also reviewed both the 91st Mobile Reconnaissance Corps and the 104th Wolfpack Battalion Clone Troopers, which are part of the September update. We have determined that there are some design changes that need to be implemented for both trooper styles. However, because of the way an update deployment works, all content for September is already locked in what we call final, and changing designs now would impact the whole update. So they go on to also clarify, therefore, rather than delay the September release, we will move forward as planned and will release another update at a later time that will make changes to both the 91st and 104th. By releasing the update as scheduled, we better ensure that we can keep to our roadmap cadence for future updates. It will also let you play the new appearances, allowing you to manage your credit balances ahead of the release of General Grievous in October. So they don't want to delay this and then release it alongside General Grievous and have you overwhelmed with what to spend with your credits. They kind of want, you to have an idea of how much credits you'll have left over after you spend those credits on these clone trooper skins. Makes total sense to me. Sounds like a good idea. Now, next up, he goes on to say the changes we are planning to make to the 91st focus on a mirroring issue of the symbols on both arms and legs. It is also worth noting that the 91st will not have red pauldrons, as they are inspired by the standard troopers in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. And finally, he says the 104th has mirrored shoulder pads, something we'll address by making one gray and one striped to match the reference. We wanted to talk a little bit about why these changes are happening. The mirroring issues mentioned is a technical issue and one we are working to resolve. Aside from tech, there are also design choices. The initial look of the Clone Troopers comes down to a number of these design choices and inspiration references. Readability of the classes is an important aspect for any game that has an online multiplayer component, and where possible, we do try to make appearances that allow you to distinguish the class of trooper. Work is currently underway to fix all of these stated issues. Should you have already purchased the appearances in-game, you will receive the updated versions automatically with no repurchase necessary. Please do keep your feedback coming. Your passion continues to energize and drive us forward. Punch it. Punch it, smack it. So there it is. That's the update about what's happening with the Clone Trooper skins. Give your honest opinion in the description below. Yeah, you know, seeing some of these skins release, and you ask yourself, you know, what happened with, you know, for example, 327 in particular, and then you see the stark differences, of course. It's good to know that we will be getting updates. I really hope that they are on par with what we have seen from the modding community. Again, like, kudos to the modding community. They are so freaking talented. And it's good to know, you know, that developers are coming back to Battlefront 2 to further help out with the game. Because, let's go here. This has been confirmed. This is Manuel, who worked on Ewok Hunt, and he says this, and back to Battlefront 2. And he posted this out on Twitter, and he is back. So I'm curious to see what he will be working on. Again, he worked on, I believe it was, the Ewok Hunt mode, but he could be further working on other things as well. But yeah, a lot of you guys were wondering, you know, how many players are playing Battlefront 2 to this day. Well, we do have some interesting stats. There was this really cool new tool that released to specific people, and it's basically tracking stats. It's a stat tracker for Battlefront 2. And here is the post from Battlefront Stats out on Twitter. He says, Week 5, 40k unique players logged in on PC, not to mention we're still in limited access. Look forward to release soon. A big shout out to our insiders. Check out the Discord to find out more. And you can see here 40,000 unique users, and it's kind of climbing. Of course, they're you know, expanding that access. Now, DICE responded about this, Forge, out on Twitter. He says, while I can't give numbers, it's safe to say that on all platforms combined, dwarf that, end quote. And you know what? I think that's definitely going to be true, especially when you get to the Xbox One and PS4, of course, because whenever I log in on PC versus those consoles, I can find matches a lot faster on consoles, basically saying, you know, a lot of the player base, or the majority of them, are on consoles. Let me know if that's true. Post down below, what platform are you playing Battlefront 2 on? PS4, Xbox One, or PC? I've been playing a lot of PS4 lately. You know what I've been playing, guys? Spider-Man. I'm just gonna say that game is totally badass. I love that game, and that has been just an insane experience for sure. Check it out if you haven't already. I'm sure you've seen the gameplay online. But okay, so let's talk about also DICE looking for focused feedback about the battle point system, excuse me. This is what Ford posted out. He says, following on from our first ever battle point event, we've been seeing a lot of great discussion around the topic, and we thought it would be great to get all that feedback into one place. We're currently looking at battle points and the costs associated with heroes and vehicles. Now that we are all here, let's talk about battle points. He wants to know, what do you think of the current costs? What changes would you like to see us make? And what do you think of the battle point event? And any other feedback you could think of around the use of battle points is appreciated, guys. So I'm going to throw that discussion in the description below. You can find it, give your thoughts, and definitely go for it. I think it's definitely, you know, something they should continue doing. It tests the water. It lets them know, you know, what type of changes they can make permanently. And it acts like a fun event. Like you can have, for example, they said that they're going to do the same thing they did with vehicles, lessening that battle point requirement for heroes. So you're going to have potentially all-out heroes versus villains warfare, I think, in Galactic Assault, which I think could make for a good experiment. But yeah, let's talk about hero health cards as well. So Colin out on Twitter asks Ben Walk, if the new hero health star cards come out, the hero level cap should be raised, shouldn't it? If, by example, Kylo gets a health star card, and I've got Kylo level 40 with every card purple, no additional points for him, how am I then going to upgrade that star card? And Ben Walk replied saying, all will be explained early, October. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting another possibly community transmission, I think, around heroes and hero health cards. Now, let's talk about top comments. You guys left some interesting comments in the previous video, so let's dive into them right now. Leffen, I think it is, 98 says, I hope Geonosis will have 4 phases like Yavin to make it long. Still waiting for Coruscant. I love that planet from the Clone Wars show, and he got 138 upvotes. It seems like a lot of you guys like phases. Do you prefer, let me ask you this, do you prefer phases like we've seen in Galactic Assault, or Conquest mode where it's basically an open map like we've seen in the Battlefield games? Let me know. Post a comment down below what you prefer. I'm extremely curious. Go for it. The next top comment comes from Darren, who says, I wish Kylo Ren's freeze ability could also stop blaster bolts. Now this would be totally badass. Be something that I would love to see down the road. In fact, what I would like to see is interchangeable abilities for our heroes, where they can constantly update our heroes and give us new abilities and stuff like that. And the final top comment comes from Cartel0511. He says, leak, 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 but nothing comes out, end quote. And I know exactly how you guys feel. I'm very tired of the leaks, and that's why me and Ryan, we have become extremely picky as to what leaks we cover. We covered the Crimson Dawn leak only when DICE officially responded about it, and it was kind of debunked. And then we covered the Some Info leak from Some Info, who's a famous leaker, only because of that, because he's a famous leaker. A lot of his leaks have been proven, you know, pretty famous. But, you know, some of these random posts that you see out on Reddit and some of the other communities, we're not going to touch unless they have like really good sources. So just keep that in mind going forward. And as always, if you do see leaks, I highly recommend being guarded about them. You know, I'm extremely guarded about reading some of these leaks. It makes me super paranoid. I'm like, you know, there's no way this or that is coming to Battlefront 2. And we've heard this same story over and over again. And yeah, just be cautious about leaks, and we will too for you guys. And yeah, if you see a leak video from us, just know we are absolutely doing our best covering those leaks with, you know, proper sources. You know, Some Info, I consider him to be pretty darn reputable considering you know, his past. I think every leak he reported on basically came true in the past. But guys, there it is, the latest happenings around Star Wars Battlefront 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned here to Star Wars HQ for more news. But yeah, it's good to see that the DICE devs are back working on Battlefront 2. You know, that kind of matches also, again, what Some Info did say a couple days ago. He said that, you know, Battlefront 2 devs are returning to DICE to work on the game. So that's actually something that is confirmed now. He actually return. I'm hoping that you hear more and more are returning to the game. But guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned here to Star Wars HQ for more Star Wars Battlefront 2 and, you know, TV, movie series, news, all that good stuff. And I will see you later. May the Force be with you always.